Today I'm going to talk about stroke and an herb called Nan Xing. And I'll talk a little bit about stroke from a Chinese medicine perspective. Usually in Western medicine, when we refer to stroke, it can actually be a wide variety of symptoms that a patient has. Is you could have difficulty with speech, weakness on one side of your face, you could have tingling sensations, you can have a weakness on half of your body, you could have a weakness in your eye movement. A lot of different things can happen with stroke. And from a Western medicine perspective, the best way to think about stroke is kind of like having a heart attack for your brain. When you have a heart attack, you don't get enough blood supply to your heart. When you have a stroke, basically you don't get enough blood supply to the brain. And depending on which portion of the brain it affects will determine the type of symptoms that you get as a result of that stroke. Now, I wanted to talk about stroke from a Chinese medicine perspective. In Chinese medicine, although there could be a number of different root etiologies, one of the common things that we say causes stroke in Chinese medicine is I would consider two things. Number one, phlegm obstruction, and then number two, wind in the body. And sometimes they can actually be together. And the herb that I wanted to talk about today is actually an herb that is uniquely positioned to treat both wind and phlegm causing obstruction. And that herb is Nan Xing. Nan Xing. And Nan Xing is a cooler herb. So it's really good for heat conditions. And it's an herb that's considered to help transform phlegm or get rid of phlegm in the body, which for a lot of people is the root problem of why they develop stroke in the first place. Another unique thing about Dan Nan Sheng is that it is useful for getting rid of wind in the body. And wind in Chinese medicine is another type of pathogen, and it can cause a wide variety of problems, anything from your common cold to tremors to strokes. And depending on where the wind is in your body, it can cause different types of symptoms. And so in stroke, that's one of the common etiologies of why people get stroke in Chinese medicine. And so Dan Nan Xing is a unique herb in that it can help both phlegm and wind and clear the body of both of those pathogens, and especially useful in scenarios of stroke. So that's a little bit about Dan Nan Xing and stroke, and we'll see you next time.